Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It's absolutely great to be with you guys. Love seeing all the hashtag CCs from everybody in the chat. What is up, guys? Countdown crew coming in strong. And, I woke up a little early this morning. I'm back home, which is nice. Getting a little bit more in the flow of things. Thank you, Angel Gaming, Demonic Angel Gaming. Nice tag there. What's up, Tim? And, man, I finished the offensive breakdown, did the first half, second half. The first half's up on Patreon now. Second half I just finished, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, I get that things are bad right now. I totally understand that there are issues, and that's what I want this whole show to be about. There are issues with the 49ers. They're not a complete team. Obviously, they're 3-3. But at the same time, man, it's very easy to watch the film offensively, right? I wanted to finish the offensive film. You only put up 14 points. Really, you put up 14. You gave away 7. So if the defense never even took a snap, you would barely win this game. That's how bad the offense was. That Jeff Wilson fumble was inexcusable. But I'll say this. They're moving the ball very, very well. They just cannot gel. They can't get out of their own way. And, I get it. Anytime a team does bad, okay, so a couple things. Anytime a team does bad and is 3-3 and you lose to a inferior team, which the Atlanta Falcons were, and, we can get into injuries and we'll talk about that. I don't care about that. When you look at a 3-3 team that's coming off an NFC Championship appearance, you're going to be frustrated. And fans should be frustrated. I'm frustrated. The 49ers players, the coaches, everybody's frustrated, rightfully so. The film shows you can be a good team. You're not right now. 49ers are not a good football team right now, but they can be. And the film completely goes to that. If you would have told me the 49ers would have 0 sacks allowed in back-to-back games, you'd be like, what? I'm sorry, 0 sacks. I don't know, man. It's weird because there's players wide open consistently. Jimmy Garoppolo's throwing great deep balls. Not consistently. He threw 3 perfect deep balls. He had the one that went off of Ray McCloud's hands. He had the one that went off of Charlie Warner's hands. And then he had the one to Brandon Ayuk that toe tapped before going out of bounds. And they had that holding call on Jake Brendel. Watch the film. 100% bad call. Terrible call, in fact. The refs were really, really bad this game. Not necessarily with the penalties, in the fact that the refs, not blaming the game on the refs. That's not what I'm doing at all. This is a small caveat. I'm saying that Jimmy throws 3 perfect deep balls and has 0 sacks. The 49ers should win that game. That's not what happened. The 3 perfect deep balls equated to going 0 because, again, you had 2 drops and then one was negated by a penalty. Doesn't mean Jimmy's not throwing a good deep ball. The interception, I get it. The interception before the half wasn't great, okay? Wasn't a great throw. Threw into triple coverage, whatever. But you had, when the ball was let go, you had 4 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts. You had to do something. So you throw it to the sideline, which they're guarding against. It's what it is. And Jimmy even talked about this. So here's Jimmy. Shout out to Juan Solis for getting these clips. He's incredible. Talking about breaking his interception streak because he had back-to-back games with no interceptions. And he had the opportunity to go 3 straight games without an interception, which he's never done his entire career. Here were his thoughts on the interception.
Yeah. I mean, those are, as a quarterback, it sucks to have that as an interception on the stat line, but I'm a competitor. I'm trying to win this game and get his points. So, if that's, it's sort of one of those things. It is what it is. You hate to see it on the stat sheet, but, we're trying to win.
And so, yeah, like I walked away from the game live, right? We were there in Atlanta. We were there in Charlotte. I walked away from both games thinking, man, Jimmy Garoppolo is playing really good football. Not bad football. But then you're like, well, he only put up 14 points as an offense. How great of an offense, how great did the quarterback actually play? It wasn't great. The interception to Debo was really bad. That was high over the middle. And again, it's funny because with Jimmy give it then take it away. You go back to the screenplay to Debo several games earlier where Debo takes it 80-plus yards against the Rams, and it's like, oh, my gosh, Jimmy, why'd you throw it high there? Well, I saw him breaking on the ball, so I went high there. Total BS, but that's okay. Then you go to this exact same thing, throwing high over the middle, contested catch. Debo doesn't come up with this one, and it's an interception. I counted 5 bad throws from Jimmy Garoppolo, which isn't too bad whenever you consider, I mean, shoot, how many times did he throw it? 41? Yeah, he threw it 41 times. And it's not like 5 turnover-worthy throws. No. 5 bad passes that were either low or whatever or behind somebody. Where there's some players running free, yeah, you bet your rear end there were. Kyle Juszczyk on one of the plays uncovered down the sideline. Jimmy never saw him. Why did Jimmy never see him? Daniel Brunskill just stepped in for Mike McGlinchey, got a huge pressure off the edge. Jimmy Garoppolo actually, I count it as a positive play, ducks the end, scrambles, throws the ball to Debo, gets like 7 yards. But Kyle Juszczyk's just running down the field, hey, by himself. Corner never even went with him. So there were some missed opportunities. Now, if we look at the 49ers offense as a whole in their rankings, now we're through 6 games. It's not good. They're an average offense at best, almost across every single metric. So I get the frustration whenever you see things like, okay, we've got Debo, we've got Ayuk, we've got Kittle. Why are we just average? Because we've got all these freaking playmakers. Offensive line hasn't been great in run blocking. With Jimmy Garoppolo, we know kind of what teams are going to do. They're going to crowd the middle, force them to beat them deep or outside, which I think Jimmy did enough to get 28 points in this game. I really, really do. But again, listen to these numbers, okay? The 49ers offense out of 32 teams, and this is after week 6, 19th in points scored, below average. 18th in total yards, right at average. First downs, 25th. That's awful. Passing yards, 22nd. Passing touchdowns, 18th. Interceptions, 9th. So we're a little better than average there. Yards per pass attempt, 5th. That's a Kyle Shanahan stat. That's all the Yak Bros. That's all that. Rushing, 9th in rush attempts, 12th in rushing yards, 11th in rushing touchdowns, 13th in yards per rush attempt. That's my biggest issue. Not that number's low. Why the hell are we not running the ball more? It was, excuse me, almost died there. It was 14-14 in the second half or second quarter, and you just quit running the ball. You gave up on it. And I thought that was a major mistake. You were still having success. You were averaging, not the best, 3.1 yards per rush, but I don't care. Still run the ball. You can't run the ball 16 times and win the game. You can't do that. You cannot do that. And so right here, Corey says the team is ready to win now. That's what the media and everybody kept saying. And I think they still are. Who in the NFC West is better than us? Nobody. We're still in first place. Like, it's insane to get this amount of criticism, even though you're still in first place. Now, should you be better than you are right now? Should the 49ers be 3-3? No, they should not. Should they beat the Falcons? Falcons beat us. The Falcons beat us. We helped them. The Falcons beat us. Now, you talk about that Denver game. You talk about that Bears game. Those are different. In my opinion, the 49ers should be 5-1 right now. That's how well they have played as a defense. Finally, the defense had a down game, all the injuries. That's where they are. So the 49ers have let some go. But again, still in first place. You look at the NFC West schedule, right? Or the standings. 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, all 3-3. You got the Cardinals at 2-4. Now, the tiebreaker, and the reason why the 49ers are in first place is because they have a 2-0 divisional record. The 49ers have already beat the Rams. They've already beat the Seahawks. So they're tied with these two teams, but they beat them both already. Rams are 1-1 in the division. Seahawks are 1-1 in the division. Cardinals, yikes, 0-2 in the division. But we still get to play them twice. But what the biggest stat to me that's the most interesting is point differential. NFC West is not a good division. Last year was the best division of football, right? Both teams in the NFC Championship were NFC West. This year, the NFC, and we were saying this all offseason, the NFC has been tremendously downgraded. Tremendously. And the 49ers were a part of that. Losing Lakin, losing DJ Jones. Like, you lost some key starters. But listen to this point differential. Okay. Last place, Arizona Cardinals. They're negative 28 points. So you add up all the points they've scored, all the points that have been scored against them this year, negative 28. Rams, negative 22 points. Seattle Seahawks, negative 17 points. 49ers, plus 33. Plus 33. All 3 and 3 teams are not created the same. They're not. They're not. And so it's, again, am I happy where the 49ers are? No, not at all. They're leaving so much meat on the bone. But if you would have told me the 49ers would be in first place after 6 weeks, I'd be like, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm happy where they are when you add the content and the context to it, right? But yeah, there's lots of issues. Mosquito Killer, what's up, man? It was awesome hanging out this week in Atlanta. That was incredible. Sucks because Ayuk was open over center. Debo was triple covered. Yeah, Debo was triple covered. But if you threw it to Ayuk, and I went into this, and you probably already watched the film on Patreon, man, Ayuk's got a score that, you dack the clock where the time runs out. You had no more timeouts. But yeah, I think you should have thrown it to Ayuk over the middle over that. But if Debo did catch that, or if you got a pass interference, you would have had time to kick a field goal. Field goal wouldn't have been a difference in the game, though. It would not have been the difference in the game. No doubt about that. So, yeah, wide open. I got you right there. I think you nailed it. And so yeah, Shot J right here. I love this. I like this semi-new non-smile Jimmy. He's playing like it's not about he loves to win. He hates to lose. Shorzy. Oh, I love it. Shorzy, get him, baby. I want to drop some Shorzy jokes right now, but I can't because it's what it is. Now, sticking with Jimmy and the Hansian jawline himself, I agree with this statement 100% on why the 49ers lost this game. Falcons did to the 49ers what Shanahan wants to do to everybody else.
I think it starts with, them getting the early lead on us. I think that obviously puts an offense in, a difficult spot. But I think we were just behind the chains a decent amount. When you're in that position, you got to, I understand what Kyle's doing. You got to pass the ball in those situations. But we just got to, that's what I'm saying in our style of ball. We just got to get back to our style, stay ahead of the chains, avoid third downs, convert third downs, and that's our style.
And we haven't seen that style. The Panthers game we did, the Rams game we did. And so, yeah, that's issues. You know what I mean? So what are they going to do? Can they get back to that? Or what do you like? You know what I mean? Like, you've got to find a way to be yourself. It's funny because one of my favorite things about this society and this podcast that I've done is I've been able to talk to so many people that are starting shows or starting podcasts, whether they're sports related, Niners related, whatever. I have people starting political shows, whatever else, that reach out to me like, hey man, can you help me get started? My answer is always like, hell yeah, I can help you get started. This is awesome. I made so many mistakes. I think we're hitting episode 700 this week. I got to check that, which is awesome. Clayton, the man behind the scene, gives me the thumbs up. He knows all. And so whenever we're looking, like, whenever these people ask me like, man, what should I do? And how do I do this? My first thing is I tell them, start right away. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for all the best equipment. Just start. And 2, be yourself, whoever you are. If you're an a-hole, be an a-hole. If you're a nice, optimistic guy, be that. If you're funny, be funny. If you're just all about data and monotone, that's okay. There's an audience for that. Be who you are, because if you're going to be somebody you're not, and you make it to 700 episodes, guess what? You're going to be fake. You're going to be phony, and people pick up on that. Be who you are. Now, why are the 49ers doing these things that are not who they are? Here's what Kyle Shanahan had to say.
Because we only had 16 carries. I think if we would have had that in any other game, it would have been the same results. I think they controlled the ball very well. And then we got a little behind. I thought we needed to throw to catch up.
This is my biggest criticism. I've most of my emails is, man, why is Kyle so bad? I've given a hope on our offense, blah, 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 all those things. And again, we just went through all the numbers on the offense and why they're not great. They're average. This is my issue. So in my opinion, if you want to be pissed at Kyle Shanahan, it's that exact same quote. Okay. I'm going to play it one more time because you guys know me. This is my biggest issue with Kyle Shanahan right here. This clip.
Because we only had 16 carries. I think if we would have had that in any other game, it would have been the same results. I think they controlled the ball very well. And then we got a little behind. I thought we needed to throw to catch up.
We got a little behind. I thought we needed to throw to catch up. Fallacy. Wrong. 100% incorrect. It was tied 14-14 in the second quarter, and they abandoned the run. At that point, 14-14, first offensive possession, 3 passes, 3 and out. Wrong. You've got to run the ball. Shache, yeah, this offense is having an identity crisis, and this is a consistent criticism throughout Shanahan's tenure. When he falls behind early, he abandons the running game. Ever since Jeff Wilson fumbled that ball and they returned it for 7 points, which was absolutely, I can't believe they put Jeff Wilson back in the game after that personally. No clue why TDP got 0 carries. Ty Davis-Price got in for 1 snap, and he was a fullback and led an awesome block, actually, for Debo on a running play. Like, give somebody else a chance and not Tevin Coleman whenever he can't even average 1 full yard to carry. I get Tevin Coleman was the hero against Carolina. He always plays against them, which is awesome. But whatever you saw, you don't need 5 carries to show he's not doing it. Jeff Wilson played all right, but man, that dude changed the game. And this isn't the first time he's done that this year. I got I've got Jeff Wilson on my fantasy team. I traded for him. Like, I don't know, man. You give up that fumble on that play, Jordan Mason, TDP sitting there, and we've seen how explosive they can be. The fact that you didn't give them one opportunity bothers the hell out of me. Again, I'm not the fire Shanahan guy, and that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that was a 100% blatant, obvious mistake, and to hear that quote pisses me off. Really makes me mad. Now, having said that, all right, let's counteract that. There are people wide open everywhere all game. All game. And Jimmy got the ball to him all game. Quarterback didn't get sacked all game. It was a very well called and managed game. Inflicting mistakes. That's what did it. And so whenever you have all those, listen to Brandon Ayuk right here.
I mean, we saw guys going down, but I think every game we kind of feel like we want to take some pressure off the defense, especially with them not having their guy. But it was kind of it was the same thing for both of us. It was another week. Mistakes. We did exactly what we didn't want to do, and we lost the football game.
That's what it is. Now, the one thing that I will say, and I want to stick with Ayuk right here, you come out in the second half, and the very first play is a drop pass from Ayuk. Same drive, drop pass from Ray McLeod on a deep ball. Next drive, drop pass from Charlie Warner. Drop pass from Juwan Jennings. Like, it just kept going and kept going and kept going. The one thing I do like, pay attention to the language that BA uses here.
I'm sure. I mean, you guys watch the game. We didn't capitalize on some of the stuff that the opportunities that we had. I felt like I had a drop that could have got us in a better spot. I think second or third down. And I think some other guys would tell you the same thing about some opportunities that they had. We just didn't play well in the second half. We had the looks, but we come from behind with the team that's running the ball well. It's tough.
It's tough. I think he got it. I think he got it. And yeah, I think we're going to Grant Asen. What's up? He says, I like Jimmy speaking up against Kyle. He's done it after every single loss. So, Jimmy's interesting and I give him a lot of flack. What's up, Juan? He says, you can hear the frustration in his voice. Brandon Ayuk played awesome, but he wasn't perfect. But, back to this Jimmy thing. Now, I will say this. Jimmy did say, it starts with me. He said it like 3 times in the press conference. It starts with me. It starts with me. It starts with me. But then he's thrown shade on, Kyle Shanahan after every single loss. BA takes responsibility. Fred Warner, let's listen to him right here, take responsibility as well for the defense.
It does suck. You wish that you have your guys out there, but at the same time, it's like, I feel like for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself in the fact that I command the defense. I'm the one who should get all 11 lined up at all times, regardless of who's out there. And everybody else who's, having to come into the game, they got to be ready to go no matter what. It's all about everybody being prepared, regardless of the circumstance. Whoever's out there, we got to make sure we're playing to our standard.
You had the guys defensively. Now, the biggest issue, and I'll open this up, and I've said this so many times this year, the entire 49ers defensive scheme it's about stopping the run first, right? The phrase that D'Amico Ryans use all the time, you have to earn the right to rush the passer. 49ers didn't get there. Didn't get there against Atlanta. Atlanta just dominated against the run. And why? Defensive tackle play. Listen to the 5 lowest graded players, okay? Here we go. Akeem Spence, defensive tackle, played 37 snaps. He had a 47 grade. DFF, okay, he played 7 snaps, whatever, 46 grade. George Odom, he gave up an entire touchdown drive. That very first drive where Talanoa Hufanga got hurt on the first play of the game, concussion, goes in, gets blue tent check, comes back out. But by the time he got back out there, it was over. Odom gave up, I think, 2 giant plays and a touchdown in that time. So Odom played 6 plays, but that was a touchdown drive he gave up. Hassan Ridgeway, starting left defensive tackle, 28 snaps, 29.9 grade. Kevin Givens, who's been a beast, 40 snaps, 28.8 grade. But I've said this, and this remains true. Kevin Givens is a matchup-dependent player. He plays very, very good against certain offensive lines and very, very bad against other ones. He's a slasher. Well, guess what? This was a terrible matchup. And you had him out there for 40 plays. And him and Ridgeway just got bullied the whole entire time. The Falcons did to the 49ers what the 49ers tried to do to everybody else. And that's where this came down to. Now, is it all bad? No. Were there some bright, 49er spots? Yeah, 100% there were. And so I don't want it just to be, oh, it's bad. No, the 49ers, I want to go over the defensive rates here in a second, right after a quick word from our sponsor. You guys know what it is. It is winning season at MyBookie. As always, if you want to enjoy the football games, 49ers, or just NFL, or really any sport in general, you can bet on anything over there. MyBookie.ag. We've been with them for years. Very trusted site. Get your money in, get your money out easily. And on top of that, all season, double deposit bonus. Whenever you first deposit your money, let's say you deposit $250, you get $500 credited to your account if you just use our promo code 49ERS or scan this QR code right to the side of me if you're watching this on YouTube. And again, it just sets you up completely. MyBookie is incredible. Bet with us. We're on Patreon. We share our bets every single week, all season long. So join us, MyBookie.ag, promo code 49ers. Bet anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Now, there were some positives. Drake Jackson, holy cow, which I have not got through all of the defensive film yet. That's going to be loaded. The first half offense is up now. Going to have the second half offense, which is loading while we're recording this. I'll have that available later tonight. Defense is going to be all day tomorrow, which I'm excited about. Also, just staying with scheduling. Obviously, today's Tuesday. That means I'm with my main man, Wayne Breezy, at 12:30 Pacific time. And then we are going to have Al Sacco. He's going to be on with us tomorrow at 4 p.m., which is going to be a lot of fun, which I love that dude. He's freaking awesome. So then Brian on Thursday at 1 o'clock. So a lot of content coming out this week, which is important. I've been on the road, which is hard to do a lot of this stuff, but I'm glad to be home now. And man, just got to give a shout out to everybody that came out. But defensively, positives, right? Drake Jackson didn't play a lot of snaps, which was a little bit of a shock to me. Charles Omenihu played almost every single Nick Bosa snap possible with 41 snaps. I thought he played well. 1 pressure, 1 sack, 4 solo run stops. He was good. Nobody's Nick Bosa. But Omenihu, I've been saying it all offseason. If I could bet on one player's stock going up and rising, it would be him. And he played well. But Drake Jackson finished as the highest rated player, 85.8. He got a sack, 1 pressure, 3 solo run stops. He only played 12 snaps. I don't know why. There were players in and out of the medical tent the whole time. Oren Burks, number 2. Kamiko Ture, number 3. Diamador Lenore, who played slot, outside, all over the place, 57 snaps. He finished with a 65.3 grade. So there are positives. There's no doubt. And if we look at just the 49ers defensive ranks now, what pisses me off the most is they're second in points allowed in the NFL. 14 points weren't on them. You had the fumble return for a touchdown, not on the defense. Nobody out there was out there. Then you had the block kick returned as well. So that's 14 points. They've only given up 89 points on the year. Really should be 75 points. That's a big difference. First in total yards allowed still. Second in first downs allowed still. Second in passing yards or touchdowns. First in yards per rush attempt. Like, this defense is still elite, but they're banged up. And so what are we going to get as we move forward? Well, we know you got the Kansas City Chiefs, the number 1 offense in the NFL coming in. That's what it is. So you could sit there and you can feel like, oh, woe is me about all the injuries, which some teams would. But listen to Fred Warner talk about the injuries.
Like I said, it truly does suck. But, I mean, me being here, I mean, the 5 years I've been here, like, this isn't anything new. Like, I've been here. I've seen it. At some point you got to adjust, and guys got to be ready to go no matter what the situation. We got to be able to find ways to win regardless of the circumstance.
You got to move forward. That's all there is. Yeah, the 49ers are the most injured team in football. All right, cool. What's that? They don't add points to the thing. Johnny, what's up, man? He says, we got to get healthier. I don't want to see Spence out there again. Yeah, 55 was struggling. He made some good hustle plays, but he is just not stout. And Kevin Givens, I think, is really impactful. But whenever you ask him to be an every down guy and taking 40 snaps, that just ain't him. That's not his role. So you're diminishing his playmaking ability by wearing him down and just absorbing double teams. That's just not what he does. There are guys out there. Ndamukong Suh's still out there. There are guys out there. You got some space. I really wish they would bring in a defensive tackle. I think Eric Armstead's probably, I don't know if you bring him, if you don't bring him back this week, he's out the Rams too. So it's either this week or after the bye, which is okay. But yeah, you got to fix something. Shot Jay says it was Breezy or Mose, but their suggestion was trade Derek Brown for the Panthers. Gosh, I would love that. That's going to cost a first round plus, I think. Derek Brown's that good. Maybe a second round plus. Is it worth that? I don't know. He looked pretty damn good against us and destroyed Jake Brindle and Aaron Banks, who's been good. Kali says, welcome home, John. Thank you. It's nice to be home, sleeping in a own bed. That was awesome. Now, listen to George Kittle, because it's always a two-way street. When you're talking about injuries, there's pros and cons. Obviously, the cons are, yeah, we don't have our studs out there. But there's a positive about it, too.
You look at his, we're down, how many ever, 7, 8 starters, or you look at his, that's a lot of young guys with an opportunity to go out there and, make big plays and, get their names known.
We're getting some guys some reps that's going to help us long term. You don't win the Super Bowl. You don't win in the playoffs in September and October and November. You don't. But remember, you get those guys snaps, there's going to be more injuries. We're not done with this. And the fact that you're getting, Samuel Womack, who, let's be honest, he had a terrible game. Terrible game. You got to get him work. It was very easy to see why Demo passed him on the depth chart. And shout out to the coaching staff for making that change. Demo was awesome. Continues to be awesome. Samuel Womack got taken advantage of. And it's going to be hard to go through that film. But he's a rookie with insane playmaking potential and turnover upside. He's got to go through it. And guess what, man? You get a crash course. Week 1, you got Kyle Pitts. He starts outside. He's got Kyle Pitts. He's got Drake London. Well, guess what? Next week, you got Patrick Mahomes, and then you got the Rams. Yeah, Johnny, if Johnny agrees with me on the film, Womack had a rough game, put that in the bank. That's all I got to say. That dude knows more about film than I'll ever know. And so if we agree, there's a Venn diagram somewhere, right? Johnny Adele, John Chapman. In the middle, we agree. I'm just saying, probably take that to the bank. Kali says, I know KC is a tall task. What would be your offensive strategy versus the Kansas City defense? Be who you are. Tevin Coleman, maybe 5 snaps. Allow the guys that you invested so heavily in to come in and play. I want to see TDB out there. If I had it my way, I'd get at least 10 carries for Jeff Wilson, at least 10 carries for TDP. I'd get probably 4 carries for Debo, 2 to 3 carries for Jordan Mason, maybe 2 to 3 carries for Tevin Coleman, right? That's what I would do. That would be my starting point. That's my starting point. Yeah, Larry, run the damn ball. That's what you do. That's what you do. And having said that, this is without me breaking down any film on the Chiefs defense. Okay. So I've watched them. I haven't broke down film on them. And right here, I'm looking at their defensive ranks, and we'll do a whole episode. We've got 49ers cutback. They'll do all 22 breakdown on our Patreon channel, which if you haven't checked that out yet, patreon.com/49ers Rush podcast. Check that out. We're going to have I think we're putting up so many hours of content over there, but here's what the Chiefs are good at: stopping the run. 3rd fewest rush attempts, 4th fewest rush yards, 6th fewest rushing touchdowns, 6th fewest yards per rush. Why is that? Because they usually jump ahead in games. Offense is so good. Teams get one, style on them and just start throwing to catch up, which Kyle Shanahan's prone to do. It's my biggest critique of him. Can't do that. You got to tell Kyle, it's okay if you're down 7-0. It's okay if you're down 14-0. Still got to run the ball. Cannot get like that. You saw it in the Super Bowl, right? Some things never change. He's got to grow. He's got to grow there. So you run the ball. You allow your team to be your team. And hopefully we get some guys back here. Right here, Vince, he says, would you go after Christian McCaffrey? I would not. I would make like a low ball offer and just say, hey, we'll give you 2 4th-round picks. You guys got to eat a lot of the salary. If they say no, then we say, cool. No, I would not go after Christian McCaffrey. No, I would not. I don't think there's a problem with the 49ers running backs. You got TDP back. You're about to get Elijah Mitchell back after the bye week. So you got 2 more weeks. I'm fine with that. Why is Jordan Mason not getting carries? That's what I'm more upset about. I don't like spending a lot of valuable resources on running backs. Would Christian McCaffrey make us better? Sure, for now. Next year, that salary cap is going to be crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot. Here we go. Give them 3rds. We suck at 3rd-round picks every. Yeah, we swap them 2 3rds, give us their 5th-rounders, and we'd be okay with that. I'd be cool with that. I ain't got a problem with that at all. So anyway, that's I wanted to do just a quick show just on kind of some of the issues with the 49ers. We're going to be live here in 2 hours with Wayne again. I'm going to jump back. I want to break down some more film today, but that's going to be out there. Real quick before we get out of here, a couple more questions, Clayton, if there's some more comments that we need to get to. Kevin asked this. John, it was a pleasure meeting you in Charlotte a week ago. Really enjoyed the party Saturday night. Hope to see you and the crew again at 49ers home game. Yeah, we'll be there for the Miami game. So December 4th, December 3rd and 4th, we're putting that party together. Now I'm back home. I'm going to be able to finish up a lot of those details. But yeah, 49ers Rush road trip. Absolutely insane. The 4 parties we threw, 2 in Charlotte, 2 in Atlanta. It's so cool meeting so many great people. And you build a relationship on here where I see your name, I see your, the pictures that you show, all that kind of stuff. It's cool to finally put a face to it and to meet these awesome people and awesome families. So thank you for all the support and all the people that come out. It's just awesome. I'm very lucky. I understand. I tell my wife this morning, she was about to leave for work. I went and talked to her just briefly, and I was like, man, I'm very, very lucky. And I understand that. I got to take my son to school this morning. I got to sleep in as late as I wanted, which was like 6 o'clock. But anyway, I got to sleep into 6, which was awesome. Woke up, broke down film for a couple hours, took my son to school, then, got to, eat breakfast with my wife and talk to her. Like, I'm very happy. And the fact that I get to record now, I get to record later. I'm very thankful for all the support that this community brings. I understand it's not lost on me that I am a lucky SOB, and I'm going to continue to try to play into that and say thank you and provide as much content as possible because I get it. I'm very, very lucky. So thank you guys. Sean asked this question. What's up, Sean? Does Robbie Anderson do anything long-term to improve the Cardinals? Hell no. DeAndre Hopkins coming back? Hell yes. Now it came out that Hollywood Brown, who's played really, really well, he's going to be missing some time. Doesn't seem to be season ending like they thought initially, but even bigger than that, Justin Pugh, their left guard, his season's done. The Rams chose no boom, their highest paid all lineman. He's season ending. The NFC West, it's bad. And it's getting worse. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is better than Hollywood Brown, but not by a lot. Robbie Anderson, good gosh, man. No, thank you. I'm not worried about him at all. You're adding him. He's a very toxic personality, which we've seen now in 2 locations, to an already very toxic staff and players and rooms and all that stuff. Not worried about Robbie Anderson at all. Dwayne says, how long is Hufanga out for? This one's interesting because Hufanga, first play of the game defensively, goes to blue tent for a concussion protocol. He passes it. They let him back in. He plays the whole game. And now he's back in concussion protocol. This has happened a few times in the NFL. So he's got to go through those steps. So the 49ers, they play Sunday. So I'm not too concerned. It's the late game as well. I think he'll be fine, but who knows? The concussion protocol is one in of itself. You have to clear these 4 stages, and they're all time sensitive. So it's possible he does not play, but I think there's likely Jimmy Ward's back. Yeah, I want Hufanga out there, but there's a possibility. I'm not concerned about – I think Hufanga's going to play. That's what I would just say off the top of my head. I hope he's okay, though. I care about his long-term health much more so than playing this game against the Chiefs. So I'd say that. All right. Want to say thank you to Clayton, the man behind the scene. Thank you to all you guys for all the continued support. We got a lot more content coming out today. Again, Wayne Breezy show at 12:30 today. Tomorrow I'll be on with Alsaco, which is going to be a lot of fun. Then Thursday we got Brian, and just content as we keep it going. Want to say shout out to our executive producers, 49ers George 365 and Kilted Niner. Appreciate all they do for us. And until next time, guys, it's rough after a loss. It's so rough. But until next time, stay strong, faithful.